Welcome back to another episode of Private Parts with me, Tom Lucy, and this week our very special co-host, Mr. Shaun Stafford.
Yeah.
Shaun is back for
Thanks
the
for having me.
first episode of 2025.
That feels quite weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
2025. 2024 went in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Well, we're here. This is it. 3rd of January. People will be probably getting into New Year's resolutions, I would have thought.
Do you think they'll be as hungover as you are right now?
I'm a little hungover. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. Shaun and I were out last night, weren't we?
We were.
We were at a gentleman's journal party, which is not a euphemism for something else. It's an actual magazine called the Gentleman's Journal, and they had a little gathering last night, didn't they?
Great party.
And yeah, we were just saying before we started this that it was frustrating how many people were shocked that me and you trained together.
I know.
It was a real sort of topic of conversation, wasn't it?
It was a dagger in the heart moment for you.
It was. I took it. I laughed it off, but you could see in my eyes I was quite hurt by it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were crying tears of pain into your Guinness.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But anyway, it was fun. You called it quite early, as you always do.
I called it early.
Yeah.
And I was on the Guinness Zero, whereas you was on the full fat Guinness.
Full fat Guinness. So it's going to be good. It doesn't matter. It's fine, right?
Do you have a clear mind today?
I have a very clear mind. What I was going to say is it was quite a weird guest list last night, wasn't it? It was quite an odd mix of people.
It was.
It was like a sort of I'm a celebrity, get me out of here B team, wasn't it?
It was a combination of people you recognise, but don't know their names.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
And it was also like a billboard poster for white privilege,
yes,
which was quite good.
Yes.
So we fit right into.
We are all about that, and we're both wearing white today, which is
so the reason why. And for any of you guys that have seen me on any podcast, I never wear white. I always wear black t-shirts. But the thing with Tom is he also always wears black t-shirts.
Yeah.
And we're so in tune.
We are, aren't we?
We're like women with synced periods.
I have the wardrobe of an actual psychopath because it is just a stack of white t-shirts and a stack of black t-shirts.
All from Uniqlo.
All from Uniqlo. I replace them once a year and that's it.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It is terrifying. That coupled with my empty fridge and my colour coordinated bookshelf. It's a scary environment.
There's a lot of red flags.
There's a lot of red flags. But yeah, no, we're both wearing white. Well, you're not hungover.
I'm not hungover. Today's a very busy day, and I knew it was a busy day, and so I made the conscious decision.
You're a good guy. You're a good guy. That's why this guy makes the big bucks, because he makes those sort of sacrifices.
Conscious decisions to rein it in.
So who was there last night? David Gandy, Wes Nelson, Ollie Proudlock, Francis Bourgeois from The Trains, who Shaun just thought looked like Francis. Is it Bourgeois? Have I said it right? Yeah. Yeah. Shaun just thought he looked like him, and then I said, no, that is actually him.
Yeah. I was like, that guy looks just like the guy that watches the trains and cries. And you were like, no, that is actually him. And I was like, oh, he's taller in real life.
You know that was the real David Gandy as well.
I did know that was the real David Gandy.
That was the real Oliver Proudlock.
Yes. So I don't know about you, but whenever I meet people that are in the public eye, it's a real coin toss if they are bigger in real life or smaller in real life. Like David Gandy, bigger in real life.
No, I actually thought the opposite last night.
What?
There was a moment where I was standing directly next to him
naked in the toilets.
Bar, fully erect, naked. And no, I was standing next to him at this bar, and he is taller than me, but he wasn't like wildly taller than me. And in my head, I pictured David Gandy being like 6'4", 6'5".
Okay, see,
but I was standing next to him, and I was like, we're almost the same height.
But you said that to me yesterday, and I'm definitely a bit taller than you.
No, you're not. Not when I have my Cuban heels on.
Not when you've got your Jamie Lang lifts on.
My Jamie Lang Sketcher collection.
Yeah. Does Jamie have his own collection with Skechers?
He should do, shouldn't he? He's very Skechers. Yeah, no, you're right. Famous people can be... Normally, in my experience, they're shorter than you think they're going to be.
Yes.
Actors are always shorter than you
Correct.
think. Because, I don't know, I don't know if it's easier to film people if they're shorter, or I don't know what it is.
Do you think it's
actors
the
are normally
proportions?
quite short?
Do you think it's proportions? Do you think it's easier to be proportioned and symmetrical if you're smaller?
Yeah, maybe. Like I'm watching that Day of the Jackal thing with Eddie Redmayne.
Love that.
Eddie Redmayne in real life is tiny. Not just short, but like really slim.
Yeah.
Just a really small guy. And a lot of them are. Tom Cruise, famously, small.
Yeah.
Although you train Luke Evans and he's a big lad.
He's bigger. Yeah. He's as big on camera as he is in real life. He's 90 odd kilos, 6'1".
Yeah.
Leading man material.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Potentially the new Bond.
Oh, I would love that so much.
Would you?
I would
Purely
love that.
for your own benefit.
I'm not going to lie. There's a little bit of selfish intent in there, but no.
If he was the new Bond, presumably you'd be like on the set training him.
I would.
Wouldn't that be great?
I'm not going to lie, Tom. I would ditch you in a heartbeat.
Would you?
Yeah. I would run off to Pinewood.
Really? Yeah.
And
I can't offer you those kind of opportunities.
No.
I could say, do you want to come and train me in between podcasts at private parts?
Yeah.
But it's not as glamorous as Pinewood Bond, is it?
No.
Is Luke Evans is he on the list for Bond?
I'm not sure he is.
He's not.
It depends where they're going to go. If they're going to go origin story of Bond, I think he's maybe
Too old.
too ripe. Yeah.
Too ripe, yeah.
But
Do you think they'll go younger?
I think they'll go younger.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it. Because he's such a good bloke and he's such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it if they took it, if they rolled the dice and went. And obviously, because he's openly gay as well.
Yeah.
It would be a really, big move for
would be
Bond
actually,
as a
wouldn't it?
franchise
There's
to
not
have
been
the first openly gay.
There's not been a gay Bond.
Pierce Brosnan, obviously, not openly gay.
Also, would his James Bond character be gay or would he be straight? Because that would be that would cause some tension, I think, amongst Bond fans.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Who knows?
Who knows? It's all to play for.
It's all to play for. Well, I think they're going to go younger, and I would guess the bookie's favourite is Aaron Taylor-Johnson,
Yes, I've heard that. Jamie Dornan, apparently.
I would love him as it. He's great.
He's also a bit older, though, isn't he?
Also a bit older.
Austin Butler, I saw flying around, although he's American, which would be a bit annoying.
Yeah.
You can't really have an American Bond, can you? My dad really looks like Pierce Brosnan.
Your dad does.
You've met him.
Shout out Rob Lucy. Looks just like
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, who you speculated might be gay.
No comment. There's no link between your dad
well,
looking like Pierce Brosnan.
You said it. No, we've been on holiday in foreign countries and people have thought he's Pierce Brosnan in restaurants and stuff, and he hates it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'd lean into that. I would lean into that massively.
You get Fernando Torres. I get Roman Kemp.
you get Sam Smith. You get Sam Smith quite often.
I do get Sam Smith, yeah. I should quickly say, for people who didn't hear our end of year catch-up episode, Shaun Stafford is a very close friend of mine, a confidant, I would say.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a rock. You're I always describe you as a rock.
I don't know where you're going to go with this.
You would be in my top 3. If I had a serious issue to sort out, you'd be in my top. And you have helped me in the past.
I have.
Remember we got rid of that body?
Correct.
You did help.
Would I be your phone a friend on
Depends what the question
Millionaire?
was. Depends what the question was. If it was about Arsenal or High Rocks, you would be my phone a friend. Yeah.
Great.
Shaun Stafford, owner of City Athletic Gyms, Ghost, personal trainer to the stars, Luke Evans, myself.
Yeah, Tom, Spencer, my
Matthews,
laundry list
how
is...
can we forget?
Yeah.
Everything, I mean, just all-round fitness guru, rock. Just...
Hey, I love the way you've gone with this. I appreciate it.
I like it.
Yeah. It's very loose.
Okay, so listen, it's the 3rd of January. I would imagine a lot of our listeners are thinking about New Year's resolutions and what they want to change in their lives. Do you have any New Year's resolution? Are you a big New Year's resolution guy?
Not really.
No. The thing is with you though is you have your
I
shit.
I live the resolution year round.
You have your shit together year round, so you don't really need to do anything, do you?
So I'm not a massive, and also my New Year doesn't really start till mid-Jan.
No.
Like I get back off holiday. I always take a little extended holiday.
Can we say where?
No. I've already said we're the poster boys for white privilege. So me saying I'm buggering off to the Maldives for a month.
While you're listening to this, go find Shaun on Instagram. You'll see what the deal is.
Yeah, there'll be some star jumps on a water villa.
There'll be some
in the Indian Ocean.
Some content there.
Yeah.
You don't really. There's a thing that happens in the I'm not Jewish, but in the Jewish religion, they have a day where they repent for the bad things they've done that year. You're meant to like sit and think about the bad things you've done that year, and then you repent, and then you move on afterwards.
Yeah.
That for you is that's just a couple of seconds, isn't it? That's a very short. I would sit there for a few hours thinking about what I'd done that year. For you, it's just you just glance at the wall, you think for a few seconds, and then you carry on with your life.
And then we move on.
And then you move on.
Pretty much.
You're one of the most sort of most disciplined, righteous people I know.
Is it disciplined, psychopathic, and righteous?
It is quite psychopathic. It's intimidating for the rest of us.
Good.
So I guess a big thing for people in January is joining gyms, right? And you are the owner of a gym.
Yes.
Does that frustrate you when people sign up in January?
No, it's the best thing. And there is a little bit of a misconception. Most people don't actually join gyms right at the start of January. Most people are still trying to get over their hangovers, kind of get their feet back under the desk at work. Like when the gym rush really kicks in, is actually like the second or third week in January. Yeah. And then it lasts for about 6 weeks. Yeah. And no,
so those mid-Jan to end of Feb is a busy time.
Very busy time. So that's when, characteristically, people that go to the gym year round get really fed up because all of a sudden
it's busier.
It's a lot busier. Yeah. You know, there's, the equipment's in use. You know, everything's a little bit more stretched in a gym environment, and that frustrates the people that
are actually
like it their own way the whole year round. But
I'd love to know the stats on people who sign up to gyms and then cancel their membership at the end of February.
It doesn't happen very often.
Really?
Yeah, because most gyms are quite smart. So they either get people to sign up for a minimum term, which is more than 6 weeks.
Yeah. When I was about 18, I lived in Shoreditch for a year, like Old Street around there. And I signed up to Gymbox.
You're actually probably still a member of Gymbox.
Honestly, I signed up to Gymbox, and then when I moved out of the area, I tried to cancel the contract. Yeah. And I think I was on it for like another year.
Yep,
I realised I was on like a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Are they known for that in the industry?
Yes.
It's not great though, is it?
So,
I mean, I get it's annoying that people join for a month and then leave, but also if you've moved out of the area and you're trying to cancel your gym membership.
Yeah. So what we do is we have like a 3-month minimum term, and then you can cancel it after a month after that. So and
then you just give a month's notice.
Give a month's notice and you can walk away. But some of the other gym operators have slightly harder contracts to get out of.
Maybe you need to get more into that. Hardcore contract, lock people down.
My favourite type of member is the one that signs up, pays me lots of money, and then doesn't come. And then never comes. Yeah, they are every gym owner's dream.
Yeah.
If we could have 50 of them in January, happy days.
They pay every month. They're very arm's length. There's no communication.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised at the number of people that with us, like they will cancel a membership, or they'll think they've cancelled their membership. Yeah. And then a year later they'll be like, oh, I cancelled my membership last year. Yeah. And I was like, it's taken you a year of money coming out every month for you to notice? Yeah, sorry, I'm not over my bank account. I was like, cool, you must be really rich.
Yeah.
You must be loaded.
What are your thoughts on people doing dry January? Is that something you can get behind?
Yeah. Well, I don't drink.
You're not really a big drinker.
I'm not a big drinker anyway, as you found out last night.
Frustratingly for me last night. I was trying to slip alcoholic drinks into it. When I say it like that, it sounds a bit...
It sounds really creepy.
It sounds a bit weird.
So I would send Tom to the bar to get me around. I said, oh mate, I'll have a Guinness Zero. He comes back with what I think is a Guinness Zero, which he then later told me was actually full fat Guinness.
What I'm called is an enabler. That's what I am. There was a thing on the Graham Norton show where, on Graham Norton, they take a drink on with them. They're all allowed a drink when they go on. It's one of the few chat shows you can have a drink.
Right.
If you watch any other chat show, they don't have drinks with them on the set.
Yeah.
But for some reason on Graham Norton, they always have on the table, a drink. And there was it was a really famous actor who's been sober for like 30 years. And they accidentally gave them an alcoholic drink on the Graham Norton show. So there's a bit where they'd go to sip it and they go, is that alcoholic? And Graham goes, oh, I don't know, I'll find out. And then they find out it was. And this person had been sober for like 30 years and then broke it live on the Graham Norton show.
That was pretty much you and me last night.
That was me and you last night.
I hadn't drank it 740 days. And that'd be like if you were going to dinner with a vegan and like sneaking bacon in when they're in the toilet.
Yes, I would do that.
You're a bad man.
Have you always been not, when you were my age, when you were in your 20s,
No.
were you a drinker?
Yeah, it's a relatively recent thing. It's probably just before I turned 40. I was like, this actually
Not
doesn't
for you anymore.
just didn't really bring any value. Like I'd say I'm the same levels of Riz, whether I'm with alcohol, without alcohol.
Yeah.
And if anything,
I actually think not drinking is better for that anyway.
Yes.
Because there are very few people whose conversation gets better when they've had a drink.
Yeah, judging on your performance last night, that is an absolute case study.
Maybe there's a sweet spot where you're like 2 drinks in where your conversation's quite good.
Yes.
But after that, it's just all downhill from there.
Yeah.
I do get why, a lot of people have a drink because they're going to something social and they feel a bit anxious and have a drink and it just calms them down a little bit.
Takes the edge off.
But then after that, you don't need to carry on.
Yeah. But with dry January, I completely get it. It's a time of year when you're coming off the back of what is, for a lot of people, a period of time of overindulgence.
Yeah.
Both with food, with alcohol,
Yeah.
with just general life. You know, you sit around not doing much, having a really nice time. But then it comes to a point where you start to feel a bit shit with it. Yeah. And I think pressing reset in January is a really easy thing to do. And I think dry January it's very low-hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
There's so many non-alcoholic versions of your favorite drink that you can still go out and socialize, and you can still go out and you don't have to isolate yourself.
No.
But you can just give alcohol a bit of a miss, a bit of a swerve.
It's way easier in January, isn't it? Because there's not, in December, you're just constantly at things where people are drinking.
And let's be honest, everybody just wants to be left alone in January.
Yeah.
And nobody, if any of my friends have like a birthday, like my wife's birthday is on the 5th of Jan, and it's so annoying.
Oh my God.
And she has like a birthday week or 2, right, as they all do.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of that now with my girlfriend. We're in the middle of her birthday month.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like January, and it's just like, and you just like birthday parties and dinner.
Yeah, I've got a friend, one of my oldest school friends, his birthday's on the 5th of January, and he always has a party on the 5th of January.
Yeah.
And it's like
6 people show up.
Yeah, but he's also like, he gets annoyed that people come and they don't want to drink. But it's like, I've just had a whole month of this, and I'm trying to not be like this all the time.
Yeah.
And your birthday happens to fall on the 5th of January. Do it at the end of December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just punt it back a bit. Punt it back to the first of Feb.
Or just don't do it.
But just don't be so fucking selfish, you prick.
What are the other big January sort of changes people can make? Gyms, drinking.
Yeah, like a lot of people sign up for their gyms in January. They do dry January, and then a lot of people try and tidy up their diets. They try and eat a little bit better.
Yeah.
Once the leftover turkey's out the fridge, they try and go salad.
Yeah.
Salad and dust for January. That's actually I'm going to trademark that.
Salad and dust.
Salad and dust January.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's got a nice ring to it, that, doesn't it? Are you going to make any sort of other big changes in your life? Are you going to... Because we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about the fact that you're gradually streamlining your circle of friends, which is a nice way of saying you're cutting people off.
I don't think that's true. I just
said... but you sort of got to a point where you're like, okay, I don't need loads of people.
Yeah, I think a good mantra for 2025 will be few and well.
Yes.
So have a few good people that bring good vibes and just invest in those relationships. And it's not necessarily just friends, it's all relationships, right? It's if you can have some really high quality relationships, it's a lot better than, when you just kind of get coerced into doing things and you do it out of obligation more often than not. And I think it's just about being really precious about the time that you have, because I think
for you there's not a lot left. There's
not a lot. I'm on my way out.
You're in your 40s now, so you're presumably thinking about how you're going to tie everything up.
Do you want to know something quite morbid?
And
it's everyone needs a bit of morbidity in January.
Yes. This is perfect. 3rd of January.
I'm actually judging on the national average for life expectancy for a male. I'm over halfway.
Are you?
Yeah.
So what's the average lifespan for a male?
It's about 81.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you are over
I'm
halfway.
over halfway. And for a woman, it's 84.
Wow.
Yeah, so they
You're
on
over the
average
hump.
live.
You're on the way down the other side.
It's all downhill from here.
I think people love their 40s from what I've heard.
Yes.
I think that's a good decade.
I think so. There was what is it? So the 30s is when you. There is a thing. What's it called?
Somebody told me.
Like a hook.
Someone told me. You've been through this, so you might know. But someone said to me, your 20s, you're trying to work out who you are. Your 30s, you're trying to tell everyone who you are because you know you're like this is who I am.
Yeah.
And in your 40s, you just sort of stop caring.
You fucking give up.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I gave up. Yeah, a couple of years
There's
ago.
a nice, people in their 40s, they just have an energy of not, in a good way, they just don't seem to care too much about stuff.
Yeah, I think by the time you're 40, you probably have a really good idea of who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
And you genuinely give a lot less fucks.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. More so than in your 30s.
Yeah, in your 30s, you're still working out. You're still trying to impress people.
So do you look at...
You're still trying to get laid in your 30s, mostly, right?
So do you look at friends of ours who are in their 30s and think you're still working a lot of stuff out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you look at me and think that?
Yes, of course. So that's why we have our sessions are all about EPS, right?
Sure. Do you want to break down what EPS is?
So EPS. So you think that a trainer-client relationship is just in the gym, beasting, all that sort of stuff. Whereas Tom and I have a slightly more evolved relationship, and it goes around EPS, which is the emotional, the physical, and the sexual. So we try and align all three every session.
We train in all three every session.
Every session, just to because we
the
found
third one is not when we say we train. We're not. There's nothing untoward going on. It's more just, Shaun will be in the corner reading, that kind of thing.
You've always got a headache. No, but it's kind of like if you focus on the other two, the other one kind of takes care of itself a lot of the time.
Is it true?
And you come to me with a lot of sexual problems. Like you have a lot of issues. a lot of sexual issues, performance issues. Yeah. And from a guy that's been around got two kids that he knows of, and I'm just, as you said, I'm a mentor. I'm a mentor more than anything.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Is it true that I read a thing the other day that the best thing you can do for aging, more so than any form of skincare or diet or water or whatever, the best thing you can do for aging is weightlifting?
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No, I read that in a probably in Gentleman's Journal. Shout out
Harry and the guys at GJ.
GJ. Is that true?
So it's one of those ones where it can keep you young for a long time. So if you look at a lot of the indicators of longevity, everything from bone density to muscle mass, all that sort of stuff, all of the stuff that is a big indicator that you're going to live a long and healthy life is reinforced through progressive resistance training. So chances are, if you are lifting weights a couple of times a week in a way that is keeping your body moving, you will live a longer, more productive life. What do they say? They say that you don't get old and then stop moving. You stop moving and then get old. So it's one of those ones where
that.
So it's.
But what's the link between weightlifting and aging? I get that it's good for your body, but in terms of people looking younger because they're weightlifting, what's that about?
Well, it's a correlation around lean muscle mass between cardiovascular health. Also bone density, right? So if you look at somebody who is old, right, chances are there'll be some level of frailty there. If you're engaging in consistent resistance training, so lifting weights and being really mobile and active, your body builds up an internal resilience. So you are, by definition, less fragile, which as a sign is, you are younger. Yeah.
But there are some people who are incredibly into weightlifting and then they go the other way and they look a lot older than they should.
Yeah.
What's that? Because you would think that they're super healthy, super all over it. Is that just a genetics thing?
I think it's a genetics thing, but I think it's also a hormonal thing. And it's also a lot of people that are really into the gym often take some extra things.
Which is not great for aging.
Correct. It's really good for getting you jacked.
Yeah.
But when it comes to long-term health and, looking young, it would not be the go-to.
So, because we've had conversations about like big actors who get really jacked for films.
Yes.
And they get really jacked really quickly in like 6 months.
Yeah.
And you've said to me that they're almost certainly taking things to help them. Does that not mean that they're also going to in 5 years' time look a lot? They don't care about that.
I think most of the people that would need to look a certain way for a certain role or a certain job would almost certainly have enough money to get themselves out of it, or they'd have enough money to make sure that they're doing it properly or under the guidance of a doctor, so that they're pushing it to a level but not pushing it past a level. So most people that look like they're on steroids are on a lot of steroids. So it's one of those things where, I think...
If they look a bit like they're on it, they're on loads of it.
Chances are they're abusing it. And I think with anything in life, whether it's recreational drugs or whether it's performance-enhancing drugs, it's the abuse of those substances, the incorrect use. And it's going to have a severe and damaging impact on your health and by definition on your longevity. So there's a really interesting podcast I was listening to a couple of weeks ago, which had a doctor who's also a bodybuilder, and he was being interviewed. And one of the questions was, something like a steroid cycle, like how will that impact the longevity of your life? And he pretty much said that if you do it properly, that it will take between 5 to 10 years off your life.
Wow.
If you do it properly.
That's if you're doing it well.
If you're doing it really well.
Wow.
So that it could have a negative impact.
And people who are willingly doing that, they're fine with that. They're just going, I'd rather look this way and live 10 years less.
It's the same for people that are drinking alcohol, that are eating sugar, that are taking recreational drugs, right? All of these, people vilify performance enhancing drugs. It's no different.
Yeah.
But I had a conversation with somebody at WADA, which is like the World Anti-Doping Agency, and they were talking about performance enhancing drugs. And I just said, look, performance enhancing drugs nowadays, the amount of people that take steroids and performance enhancers, none of those are competing in professional sport. So technically, what are they? They're recreational drugs. Steroids and that sort of stuff, they are a new wave of recreational drugs because people take them to look good on holiday, to, get ready for a wedding, that sort of stuff. They don't do it because they're competing in professional sport. They do it because they're wanting to look better and feel better and perform better in the gym.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, it's purely recreation.
What's the deal with, because you people may or may not know this, but you had a big career before what you do now as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And you were like a very respected, you won competitions.
I won a couple of world championships back in the day. It was a long time ago now.
I've been with people who I've been with Shaun meeting people and they're fans of you from back then.
Niche.
It's a very niche thing to be into.
Very niche.
But in that world, you are or were quite a big deal.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. We will come back in part 2 and we'll talk a bit about bodybuilding, and we have some gym dilemmas that people have sent in for you to answer.
Fantastic.
Which sounds like a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to part 2 of Private Parts with me, Tom Lucy, and...
Do I have to introduce myself?
You've got to say your name.
Oh, wow. And Shaun Stafford.
There it is. Wow. You're an old pro. Did you know that the second Friday of January is known as Quitter's Day? 70% of resolutions are scrapped by the second Friday of January.
Wow.
I can see, I'm not condoning that, but I can see why. It's because I'm guessing the first Friday, people are like, come on guys, we're doing dry January, let's not go crazy. By the second Friday, people are like, okay, I would like to have a drink now.
Life is so bleak. Pass me the vino.
I spoke to someone once and they said they failed dry January, and I said, how far did you get? And they said lunch.
Yeah, it's I think one of the main reasons.
What are your thoughts on Quitter's Day?
So I think one of the main reasons why people give up on their sort of resolutions or whatever they've committed to doing is, one, it's probably unsustainable. So they probably go too hard too early,
Yeah.
and they set themselves guardrails that they're never going.
This is the issue with like diets, right? It's like when someone says they're on a diet, they're setting themselves up to fail, right? Because they're putting themselves in such a constricted environment.
Salad and dust.
That it's like this is not going to lie. You're going to come off the wheels harder than you've ever done. I'm guilty of that though. I'll like if I decide I need to be healthy for a bit, I'll eat nothing for like 4 days.
Yeah, there's only so far raw dogging it can get you, right? So if you're there and you're just looking at an egg in the fridge, right? There's only going to be so far before you have to eat something, and a lot of the time, as you said, you're setting yourself up for a fall. Yeah. You're being too hard on yourself, and you're setting things that are not realistic and achievable.
Yeah.
And if people are really looking to start January and start 2025 in the best possible way, you need to be realistic about what you can achieve. Mm-hmm. So take going to the gym, for instance, right?
Yeah.
If you don't go to the gym currently, and all of a sudden you say, I'm going to get up an hour and a half earlier every single day, and go to the gym. Yeah. Chances are you're going to set yourself up for a fall.
Yeah.
So why not go to the gym at a time which is convenient for you?
Yeah.
And that might be at lunchtime, it might be after work, it might be, before work, whatever.
I always think that. I think when people say they're going to start going to the gym, make it easy for yourself.
Correct.
Like go to a gym that's near your house.
Correct.
Like just make the whole thing something that you're actually going to want to do.
Convenience is king.
Rather than like creating this situation that's horrible and you hate.
Yeah.
And it's an hour to get there and an hour to get back, and you're doing it at 4 a.m. Like you're setting yourself up to fail.
Correct. And also, don't say you're going to go to the gym 5 days a week. Say you're going to go once or twice.
Yeah.
And get the reinforcement and the positive sort of momentum going of actually sticking to what you say you're going to stick to. Because that's really important.
Yeah.
Because if you say you're going to go 5 days a week, and after the second Friday comes around, you've been twice, you're going to automatically feel shit.
Yeah.
And as people know, they go, well, fuck this then.
And also,
then they just give up.
If you're not going to the gym at all and you start going twice a week, that's a big improvement.
Huge.
Yeah. And to go from nothing to 5 days is mental, but to go from nothing to 2 days that's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and it's one of those things that will have a meaningful and significant impact on your life.
Yeah.
And it's even like you don't have to be so reductive as saying go to the gym. If you're doing no exercise and all of a sudden you start adding in a 30 or a 40-minute walk, or rather than getting the tube to work, you walk to work. That level of exercise is a big step up on where you're going. And it's also one of those things which is more sustainable, it's more realistic, and it's going to reinforce that achievement mentality, which will make you stick it out for longer.
I used to do this thing where I would say I'm going to write, like when I was sort of trying to write things, I would say I'm going to write from 9 till 5.
Like your name and stuff?
Yeah, just practicing my name.
Handwriting, trying to get your pen license.
With writing, yeah. Once I got my pen license. No, for like writing stand-up or script or whatever, I was like, I'm going to write from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then nobody does that. It's like Shakespeare didn't write from 9 till, it's just, if you did 1 or 2 hours a day, that's a lot. And most people are not doing that. It's just like setting yourself completely unrealistic goals. But then you feel shit when you don't achieve them.
Yeah, and you end up quitting on the second Friday in January. But there's also, from a health point of view, and I know that for most people in January, health is a really big thing, right? They want to start the year, they want to be healthy. They're probably feeling a bit shit from Christmas and New Year, their overindulgence. But there are things out there where you can have a material impact on how you feel that don't cost anything and are relatively easy to do. We call it low-hanging fruit, right? One of those things would be to go to bed a little bit earlier. Try and get, between 7 to 9 hours sleep a night. Get off your phone at 9 o'clock, Don't be like if it's dark outside, chances are you shouldn't be putting light into your eyes from a phone, right? It's the world trying to tell you something. Go to bed earlier. You will instantly feel better. Drink more water. So there's a calculation, which I'm not going to bore you with, which tells you like how much water you should be drinking every day for optimal health. It's 0.04 times your body weight in kilos. That will give you the number of liters you should be drinking. And most people, if you've got your phones out and are doing the maths, you'll be like, bloody hell, I don't drink that. So try and hit that number. Super easy. It doesn't cost you anything. Just try and do it, and try and do it early in the day.
And if you are going to do that, which I think you should, can you not walk around with these massive water bottles?
Yeah.
They are annoying, aren't they? Those like water tanks.
Those gallon ones.
Yeah, it's like those tanks that are in the corner of offices people just walk around with now.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, and it's got...
Get a camel pack backpack.
Be a real psychopath. Wear your white Uniqlo t-shirt and a camel pack. Yeah,
Walk
why
around
not?
in January, go, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
With a little camel pack water thing. And see how quickly you lose touch with all of your friends.
Yeah. Or they lose touch with you.
This is my issue with, like, in the past where I've said I'm not drinking for a while, where it's gone wrong for me is that when I say I'm not drinking, it means I'm not socialising or seeing anyone.
Yes.
Because I think I can't see people if I'm not drinking.
So we've
so
had
you
this-
end up doing nothing for 3 weeks, then getting really frustrated, then going out and then going even bigger than you would have done before because you're so pent up.
Yeah.
It's that all or nothing mentality.
And I don't know if this podcast is sponsored by non-alcoholic beverages, but there are so many good ones out there now.
Cleanco.
Cleanco.com. Where it's a case of you can still go out, have fun, and not have alcohol.
Yeah.
And it makes no difference. And you still get that social stimulation. You still, you're not isolating yourself, and it's an easy win. Also, and I know that you're a big fan of this on the Fast and the Curious podcast.
Can we explain what that is for people?
Sorry, inside joke alert.
It's one of the other people Shaun trains is Spencer Matthews.
Yeah.
And Spencer went through a period, he just gets obsessed with things, doesn't he?
Yep.
And he went through a period of being obsessed with fasting.
Yeah.
It was all he was talking about, was how he hadn't eaten anything for like 72 hours and how amazing he felt. And I pitched him the idea that he should have a podcast called The Fast and the Curious.
Yeah, which we did actually do.
That's an amazing name for a podcast.
It is, yeah.
But he's done nothing with it.
No, we did it. We did it for a series.
A whole series?
We did.
It wasn't called The Fast and the Curious, though,
It was not, but it was called Big Fish Extra Catch.
Yeah.
So we kind of unpacked a different health trend every week. But the first one we did was on fasting. And it was called The Fast and the Curious.
See, there you go.
So royalties.
And did I get
in
any
the
money?
post.
Did I get any money for that? No.
No. Yeah. But saying that, and jokes aside, fasting is a really easy, again, low-hanging fruit strategy for optimizing and improving your health. So, and it doesn't have to be anything more than just eating what you would normally eat in a day, but just shrink the amount of time, shrink the window of feeding.
On the subject of making your life easier, I find that easier because if you wake up in the morning and you're not thinking about what you're going to have for breakfast, it's one less thing to think about in the morning.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like your life is easier because you've taken that whole thing away until midday or whatever it is.
Yeah. Productivity early doors, and then have something after lunch.
We have been sent some gym dilemmas. And seeing as you are king of gym, are you king of gym?
King of the gym.
King of the gym.
You can call me that. I don't mind.
King Jim.
I won't fight you on it.
No.
I'll let it roll.
Who are the other King Gyms?
King of the gyms.
Yeah.
There's a few out
Rock.
there. Yeah, The Rock. Yeah, you can put me in.
Hemsworth.
Yeah, The Rock, Hemsworth, Shaun Stafford. They're all
Bradley Simmons.
cut from the same cloth.
Just ignore the last one.
Do you want to use this, Tom? Do you want to use this clip?
Okay, here we go. I farted loudly whilst squatting when my gym crush was about 3 meters behind me. Should I move gyms and never return? So farting while squatting.
I would not only. I would probably find a bridge.
Yeah, good.
And just that is wow.
That's you can't come back from that.
I don't think you can. Well, it depends. There's did she have headphones on or did he have headphones on?
Yeah.
And did it?
Yeah, but we've already heard that you have headphones on with nothing playing, so that doesn't make.
Yeah, that's so people don't talk to me.
Yeah, but it means you can also hear.
Yeah, so it's
this.
like if she didn't hear it and there wasn't anything on it. So if you didn't crop dust. So if you if there wasn't the smell lurking in the air, where everybody started to gag, I think you might have got away with it. So you could probably keep your. And also, if you remember, you're tied in for a minimum of 3 months.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you just got to swallow your pride, mate, and ride it out.
It doesn't say, but if they're a gym box, then you won't be leaving until the next millennium.
Correct.
If someone has extremely bad BO in the gym, should they be told to leave?
Oh. See,
you must deal with this at the gym.
Yeah, it's a really awkward one. So what was actually Because it's one of those things where, if you think about it, nobody wants to be Stinky Joe.
Sure.
Right? Like nobody would intentionally like stink the joint out, right? But it's a lot of the time it's one of those ones where they're unaware of it.
Yeah.
And so it depends what relationship you have with that person. So if they are friendly and engaging and there is a level of back and forward, then you can probably mention saying something like, "Oh, I don't think you've washed your shirt today. Do you want to borrow one?"
Yeah.
And,
wait,
and
is this for members of staff or for just people in the gym?
People in the gym.
Okay.
I can actually tell you a story on a member of staff one going way back.
Okay.
So we used to have a guy that day in day out would just rock up and it wasn't smelling great.
No.
And it's obviously when they're a member of staff, they're kind of representing your gym and representing your brand. So it's kind of like it became a bit of an issue because it's one of those ones where it's a very awkward thing to have those tough conversations, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to pull someone to the side and go, "Look, you smell."
Yeah, and it's embarrassing. It's like it's something you have to tread really carefully about. So no, I have management that I can lean into to do that, but I definitely put pressure on them to do it.
You don't get your hands dirty, do you?
Try not to. Try and keep it squeaky clean.
But I agree though. If someone's working for you and they're walking around, I think you have to say something, right?
So this is the thing. So we had a manager at the time that was really good, and he was a smart guy, Aussie guy, and so what he did, rather than like head at the problem straight on, he just made sure that the staff changing room was like overly stocked with deodorant. And he went and bought colognes and deodorants and all this sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden the problem kind of went away because it was around about the houses way of dealing with the problem without embarrassing the guy. So going back to the initial question, like I think it all depends about the relationship that you have with the member or the member of staff, and also how you attack the situation. Because I think just going up to someone and saying, "Dude, you stink,"
quite confrontational.
It's confrontational. It's unnecessary and it's mean. Whereas I think gyms, you want them to be inclusive spaces. You want people to be welcome and you want people to feel comfortable and part of that community. So if you can try and get a resolution of getting somebody to not stink like shit in the gym,
I think that's
great.
What you said about trying to make it is welcoming, because I think the reason a lot of people don't go to the gym is because they find it really intimidating. And they walk into a gym and they feel tense and uncomfortable
And I think calling somebody out on if they smell, I think is one surefire way to alienate people and to create a nice gym environment.
I think you're going to have a good answer for this. Should influencers be allowed to film in the gym?
No. Fact. Period.
No.
Yeah. So
but there are people making some content in your gym, aren't there?
Nope.
Are there not?
Nope.
I suppose they're taking photos, but they're not filming.
We have a rule of like no tripods and all that sort of stuff because
I wouldn't even thought. I guess you do have to have those rules. I wouldn't think you'd have to say that.
Yeah, no, you do, and it's less so now actually. It seems like it hit its peak and then it's kind of dropped off a little bit.
Yeah.
But we absolutely have a no cameras, unless we are filming something or filming specific content in the gym, which we do at an off-peak time, or we do it when we're closed. We have a no filming policy because it's a private space for our members and staff where we want them to feel completely comfortable. And it's just not what we want, or not what we want as a business. But I also think it's not what other gym users want, and that is the most important thing.
They don't want to be paying their membership the background of someone's video, do they?
But also they don't want to have to be conscious about a camera being, when you're training, you're pulling some average faces. Like if you're working hard, that is a cum face and a half right there. Yeah. Right. So it's a case of like, you don't want someone's camera in your peripheral vision when you're trying to work out. It'll just add to how self-conscious you are. And you want gyms to be places where you're not feeling self-conscious.
I guess that's a very good
So I think cameras and tripods and influencers, if you want to create gym-based content, hire a gym out. There's plenty of options out there where you can hire the space, or you can, there's Solo 60, which is like you can hire the space for 60 minutes and it's a little pod and it's got everything you need. You can do your filming in there. But I think mainstream gyms with other gym goers,
no cameras.
It's a no-go.
No tripods should be a rule for everywhere, really, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a no from me, dog.
Where do we draw the line on female gym wear when it's very small and revealing is it acceptable?
It's you know the answer to this as well.
I think you're going to get a sort of slightly biased opinion here.
Yeah, like people.
We were talking to someone last night who said that they go to quite a swanky gym.
Yeah.
And he was like, some of the girls who go to this gym wear nothing. They basically like turn up and they're like dressed for the beach, or like they're in some sort of swimsuit photo shoot.
Yeah.
And he said it's quite distracting.
Tom Lucy music video.
Yeah, exactly. In the background of one of my music videos. And he said it's quite distracting.
Yeah.
But he also wasn't complaining.
Correct.
So where do we stand on that?
I think people. So we have a policy in my gym where you can't take your shirt off. Mm-hmm. So you have to be wearing proper. You can't wear denim. You can't take your shirt off. There's some basic rules of like wear sports kit, wear shoes, all this sort of stuff. As long as they're not violating those rules, you can wear whatever you want. Again, we're not here to tell people what they can and can't wear in a gym unless it's a hard violation of a rule, like you've got your shirt off. Yeah, like fair away, fair game.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
There was quite a funny story. So we had a guy, one of our trainers, who was really shy. Yeah. And like he had a new client, and this new client used to wear, like a guy client, used to wear quite short shorts. Sure. Like short shorts. Yeah. And one time, said client was doing walking lunges down the track in the gym.
I see where this is going.
And a nut fell out.
Sure.
And it was like the trainer literally didn't know what to do. Like he was and we went back and we looked on the CCTV camera, and you can, because he told us, and then I was like, if it's on the track, we've got video of that like happening. And luckily the camera was behind the guy, so you could only see the trainer's reaction, right? And you can pinpoint to the millisecond when the testicle fell out, because he literally just freaks out, like doesn't know where to look, like all of a sudden is checking out like the paint on the ceiling. But it is so funny, and we've had that happen quite a lot. People wearing short shorts and things falling out. So yeah, I
always think with those men who wear those sort of that sort of clothing, they almost want that to happen. Like there's a reason why they're wearing. It's just a bit odd. It's like almost like you want your testicles to fall out of your shorts.
Hey, look, some people ride fast it's thrill seeking. Some people ride fast motorbikes. Some people play Russian roulette with a revolver. Yeah. Some people do walking lunges with short shorts on. It's all the same.
You've got to get your thrills from somewhere.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Shaun, I'm going to ask you to read this message that we've had from a listener.
Okay.
Have you got it?
Hand me the card.
Have you got it on yours, or shall I give you this one?
Come on, give me that one. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
It's
okay.
on
Okay. So this is a question from a listener.
Yes.
Okay. Hey guys, loving the pod. I don't have a question, but rather a rant. Why is it that some guys like to stand in groups of 3 around one bicep machine having a little circle jerk? Surely this isn't an effective gym training method. I get being supportive of your bros and all that, but realistically, you're only really getting in about 3 reps an hour. Take up a new hobby. May I suggest soggy biscuit and move out the way.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow. Obviously a third space member.
Yeah. A lot of fucking aggression in that, isn't there?
Yeah. So do you know what I think of this?
Okay.
If you want to be part of that circle jerk, just go and ask.
Yeah.
Most gym bros are welcoming, and if it means that there's going to be one more person massaging the biceps and draining the biscuit, then fill your boots. But I think
that sounds like it's been written by someone who wears short shorts and their testicles fall out. Yeah. And they're annoyed the attention's not on them. Yeah. They're like, guys, come and look over here. Look, my testicles are hanging out. Look at this.
They're like, sorry, bro, we're
sorry, man.
We're jerking each other. I think underneath all the
is that more of an issue with people just standing around not doing anything?
Yeah. So I think underneath all the boarding school angst, the actual crux of this problem is that there are people that take up equipment and aren't actually training.
That is annoying.
That and to be fair, that is a valid point. Yeah. And there's a real easy solution to it. And it's just to go up and say, hey, can I work in with you?
Yeah.
And whether that's one hand, whether it's two hands, whatever's going on, if you're feeling left out or someone's using a bit of equipment that you want to use as well, you want to share it.
Yeah.
Most people in gyms are big boys and big girls.
Yeah.
Go in a nice, polite way. Say, hey, how long have you got left, or can I work in with you?
How long have you got left is a good thing to say, I think.
How many do you have left?
Yeah.
And if it's like 11 minutes, bro, then you can say, cool, can I work in with you?
Yeah, yeah. There is one particular gym, I won't maybe not say the name of it, but it is notoriously bad for people just standing around not doing anything.
I know exactly which one it is.
Yeah.
White City House.
Yeah, you can say. It's just like, I used to go there a lot and I've sort of stopped because I just find it infuriating.
Yeah.
Because all the machines are taken and they're all taken by people not using them.
And they're all on their phones, like
they're all
emailing
on their phones,
or
like,
on a Skype call or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, dude, go to the cafe.
Or they're just chatting, or the men are just like sat on a machine trying to look at themselves in a mirror.
Yeah.
It's just it's not a great environment.
So if we were doing an episode on gym pet peeves, like we've already covered a few of them. One is the giant water bottles, which I get, but come on, mate. Like, just fill it, drink it and fill it up.
Just have a normal sized bottle.
Correct.
We get that you're drinking loads of water. It's not. Yeah, I don't understand it, but
smelling in the gym is a bit of a pet peeve as well. So we've covered that one. I think using equipment and not actually training on it. So just like sitting on it and being on your phone. I say being on your phone is a huge one.
Yeah.
Like
you take the phones away.
With all of my clients, when they come in, it's like I make them put their put their phones in a sealable bag.
Yeah. Training with Shaun is like going to a Diddy party.
Yeah.
It's phones away.
Lots of baby oil. And very, very high possibility of being cancelled.
Yeah, that is a big one, isn't it?
What other pet peeves have you got?
I'll tell you what I actually find annoying is, and it doesn't happen very often, but if you're in a gym and you bump into someone that you know, I don't want to talk to someone while I'm like, I've been running on a treadmill before, and someone's come into the gym who I know, and they will come and stand next to the treadmill and chat to you while you're running, and you have to make the decision: do I stop running to talk, or do I just keep running and try and chat while I'm running?
Yeah,
and both of those are annoying.
Correct.
And it's like if I saw someone running on a treadmill and I knew them, I would go, okay, I'm not going to go and interrupt them.
You would do this.
I'd wave, or I might even not wave. I might just go, I'll speak to them afterwards.
Yeah.
But that is annoying.
But that's what we were saying about earlier when you joked that I wear headphones with no music.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's if I've got a very short amount of time to train, I don't want to be disturbed. I put my headphones in whether I'm listening to anything or not.
Yeah.
Just so it's kind of like a bit of a like leave me alone sort of signal.
Yeah.
To your gym users.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered off quite a few.
I'll tell you what else I find annoying is in the men's, this is more of a changing room annoyance.
Yeah.
But wandering around naked for longer than you need to.
See, I don't mind that.
Okay. I get that you're going to be naked for a moment while you're changing, but you don't need to like sit naked and look at your phone or deliberately walk around naked. You don't need to like make it worse than it needs to be.
So one of my number one clients and one of my closest friends, he's got a massive knob as well, so this is probably why.
Is this Luke Evans?
It's not. We're not going to name and shame, but no, it's not.
Is it someone we would know?
You would know him, yeah. You've met him. We're not going to name drop him on here because he's got a proper job. So basically, he's the guy that would train, go into the changing rooms, and he would have a shower. He would stand at the mirror and he would put his shirt on. He would put his tie on. He'd put his socks on. He would brush his hair. He'd put his jacket on.
Yeah.
And then he'd put his pants on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, for God's sake, it got to the point where we have like deodorants and stuff all on the side and like things. I would walk.
Since you had the smelly guy.
Yeah. Since we had Stinky Joe.
Yeah.
So we. I walk past and I get a deodorant. I just spray him. Yeah. I just spray his stink. Like put some pants on. Like there is no world should your pants be the last bit of clothing going on. I know you're trying to air dry that shit.
Sure.
But
You got to let it drip dry.
Yeah.
You also said to me that you find it annoying when people. You said during the cost of living crisis, people they would only shower at the gym. They wouldn't shower at home.
No, I don't. No. I don't mind people, and you're guilty of this, Tom.
Well, I was guilty of it the other day when my boiler broke and I used the gym shower.
See,
but you said people would come in, they'd shower in the morning, they'd come back and shower in the evening.
Yeah. So where I would be frustrated as the guy that pays the water bill and the electricity bill is that they would come in the morning for a shower, leave, go to work. Come in for their lunchtime workout, have a shower after that, and then before they go home at the end of the day, have another shower. I'm just like, guys, cost of living crisis or not, but like someone's picking up the bill and it's muggins over here.
I'm interested, as an owner of a gym, is the water bill ridiculously expensive?
Water bill, no. Electricity bill, yes.
Yeah.
Like it's in the last couple of years, it's just gone,
yeah.
You know, think how expensive your electricity bill is at home, and then think of a space that's probably 30 times bigger.
Yeah.
And then we have 2,000 visits a month.
Yeah.
So like
we were training the other day, and one of your staff came up and said, "Oh, there's a couple at reception who have just got off a flight from Australia, and they're wondering if they can use the showers."
Yeah.
And they just want to buy a day pass. They're not going to work out. They just want to use the showers.
Yeah. So they basically, I had a chat to them afterwards. They just got off a flight to Australia and they couldn't check into their hotel.
Yeah.
And if you've just got off a 24-hour flight, chances are you're Stinky Joe.
I thought that was quite smart thinking from them to be like, let's go to a gym.
Yeah. It's not their first rodeo. They've probably done this before.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were lovely, and they paid the extortionate amount that we charge for a guest pass.
They're also locked into a 6-month contract now.
Yeah.
Which is great. I don't know a huge amount about this. We've talked about it a bit, but you had a previous career as a very successful bodybuilder.
Yeah.
How many years, what age were you when you started doing that, and what age when you stopped?
So I actually bizarrely got into it as a bit of a bet.
Okay.
So a colleague at work, I just finished playing rugby, and a colleague at work was like, there's this new sort of competition, it was bikini for girls and men's physique for guys. We should enter it and see who does better. And so that's not a bad.
Where were you working at this stage?
I was in a gym in central London.
And you were how old?
I want to say 29.
Oh, quite old.
28, 29.
I thought you were younger than that.
No, 28, 29.
Is that old to get into bodybuilding?
No, it's
that normal?
It's about right, because you need to have some level of muscle, and that usually that takes time. So there's hope for you, There's hope for you,
I could still be one.
You could still be there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. After your performance in High Rocks earlier this year, you're on that path for physical excellence.
Great. Well, that's good to know.
And so basically, we had a bit of a bet where we entered a competition.
Yeah.
And we ended up both winning.
Yeah.
Each category in the competition, and then I thought, oh, that was quite fun. Let's do it again.
Did you get some money for winning?
No, because it was an amateur show, so no prize fund. And that was the British Championships, and then I got invited to the European Championships in Iceland. So I thought 8 months later, started training again, and I won that one as well. And when I won that one, they give you a pro card status. So that means you're a professional bodybuilder. So then all the competitions you do after that, you win money.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So like 9 months ago, I was a ex-knackered rugby player. Now I'm European champion, men's physique, and can compete on the pro circuit. It's like the World Championships is in another 9 months' time in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give that a crack.
Yeah.
And then I gave that a crack, and I ended up winning that one as well.
That's crazy.
And so it was like one of those ones, and that was a good check.
Yeah.
You know, it was a sizable amount of money, thousands of pounds. And I thought, this is quite good. I was like 3-0. In 18 months, I went from being a knackered rugby player to being a world champion sort of men's physique bodybuilder.
Did it become your full-time job?
No.
It was never your full-time?
It was never the full-time job. It was kind of like your full-time passion, and it does consume your life.
Can it be a full-time job?
Yes. Oh yeah.
It can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and especially with social media and influencing and all that sort of stuff, and the brand deals and stuff that come along with it, it very much, there are people that make millions of pounds a year
your friend
doing this.
When you were out in Vegas, you met up with him.
Ryan Terry is the perfect example. He is the best men's physique competitor the UK has ever produced. Like generational talent. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Nicest bloke. Used to be a plumber. Now is a multi-millionaire, one of the best men's physique guys in the world.
I'm guessing that for him is like a 24/7.
24/7, 365.
Training, dieting. we should show the people in the room the photos of Shaun when he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
and there's that one video that is really show. Have you got it on your phone?
No. Oh, I do. It's on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look it up. Well, if you're on your laptop, look it up because you were in.
I was in insane shape.
Unbelievable shape.
And the funny thing is, I actually weigh less then than I do now.
But you look like that because there's zero fat on you.
Zero body fat, so we had if you do calipers and skin fold, I came out as less than 1% on the calipers on skin fold. So it obviously doesn't take into account the fat that's around your organs and all that sort of stuff. So you can't say you're 0% body fat, but on a skin fold reading, that's how low you've got to go to win bodybuilding shows.
Did you find it? Have you just found the photo? Look at that.
That's a photo. Yeah, that's a photo. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you Google Shaun Stafford bodybuilding, it'll be on all the YouPorn sites.
Yeah.
You can find it wherever.
It's your Grindr profile.
It
isn't it?
is. Weirdly, it is.
You basically catfish. Catfish with my.
What's the deal with that? Because I would assume that if you look like that and you're winning bodybuilding competitions, that women are throwing themselves at you. Is that what happens, or is it quite a niche market?
So that is what you think would happen. So being in that level of shape, the only people throwing themselves at you is other men.
Other men.
Yeah.
It's true though, isn't it? Because when you get really jacked, the only people who care are other men.
Correct.
Women actually, if there are men listening to this thinking that they're going to get jacked to attract women, honestly, it's not worth it because women actually don't care that much.
100%.
They care to a degree that you're looking after yourself.
They want you to be big, strong, and be able to protect them. Or if someone had a fight and you needed to or defend their integrity, or someone called them a naughty word and you had to go and stick up for them, they would want that. But
that level of it, the only people who are interested in it are other men.
Yes.
When you start talking about body fat percentages, and
what are your macros, bro?
Yeah, it's not conversation.
What's your training split?
Women are interested in.
Good-looking woman in a bar is in any way, shape, or form interested in your macros in your training split.
Was it not what you would imagine girls throwing themselves?
So
is it not like being a pop star?
It is a little bit. So it depends where you go. So when I used to do tours and things, so I did a tour of India, and I did a few tours of India, and it's not because I'm 6'1", white, blonde, and musty. I look like He-Man, so I definitely stand out in that demographic, right?
Yeah.
But and it might be something to do with the Indian culture, but they genuinely are fanatic. We needed security. So I did a little tour with a couple of other people, and you get mobbed, genuinely mobbed. I felt like the Beatles. I felt like Harry Styles.
So there were you and two other bodybuilders.
Me and a couple of other bodybuilders.
And when you say you're on tour, what are you doing?
There's big expos, so it's big
so you're
bodybuilding
on stage with your top off,
big bodybuilding expos,
going crazy.
Yeah, you're doing little spots on TV, and you're going and meeting people, meet and greets. It's
sounds quite fun.
Genuinely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Tom Lucy 2023 tour.
Yeah,
the
legendary tour.
The legendary tour at the Bloomsbury Theatre.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that.
The Eras tour.
Yeah.
The Tom Lucy Eras tour.
But it was a really incredible time.
And your family, because I've met your family and I know you come from a similar background to me.
Yeah.
It's so different to what everyone else is doing in this kind of world.
Yeah.
Did they get it, or were they?
Not really. I don't think anybody unless you've lived it, unless you've had a little experience of it, you don't really get it because, and it's one of those ones where you've been with me when, as we said earlier, when you get recognized from that previous life, and it's always really, really nice to have people kind of acknowledge what you've done.
Yeah.
So I'm now more known for being in a Sidemen video than winning world championships in men's physique. So it's quite nice to get recognized for something you've actually worked hard for and achieved.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fanatic sort of, it's much more an international thing, and it might be because in England we don't, tall poppy syndrome, we don't really like to pat each other on the back.
Yeah.
But definitely on an international level, other cultures are much more into men's physique and bodybuilding than we are.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. Is it so? So you were 29 when you got into it, and then how old were you when you decided to start?
34. So
Okay.
I did it for 5 years. So I competed at the top level as a professional for 5 years.
Okay.
And it basically was British, European, worlds, lost a world championship, won a world championship. So,
And when you win a world championship, other than, I presume you get money.
Yep.
What else do you get? Do you get a trophy?
Big trophy.
And have you still got that?
I've got two
Where
of them.
are they?
Yeah, they're on the bookshelf at home because they're really fucking heavy as well.
Are they big?
They're brilliant. We had to modify the bookshelf just to get them in. Like I've got more. Like, I like to say to any of my mates that are Spurs fans, I've got more silverware than your football club just sitting on my bookshelf. Tom's into football now, so we might get that joke.
Big football fan now.
Big football fan.
What, from your bodybuilding years, was the craziest thing that you saw?
Craziest thing I saw?
Yeah. Does anything stand out as like a... that's something that I wasn't expecting to see when I came into this world.
Well, the colour tan that people, and this is probably like a really stereotypical thing, but like you go very dark. And the reason why...
Do they literally paint it onto you?
Yes, they literally paint it onto you.
Someone's job is to paint you with a...
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And that, so I've been in a tanning booth, right? And you kind of, you're naked, right? And there's
fully.
You can be fully naked. Like I put a sock on it.
Sure.
Football sock.
Yeah.
Steady on.
I'd have an ankle sock.
You'd have one of those sockless socks. Yeah. You'd have a sockless sock. So I was there, football sock on, obviously.
Yeah. Nice.
And there was a guy next to me, like, with a full-on raging boner.
What?
Because
I don't think that's acceptable, is it?
Well, so there is a reason. So
he's a sex pest.
His name's Jamie Lang.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. It's one of those ones where some people take certain compounds, and one of them is called a vasodilator.
One of them's called Viagra.
Viagra is a
that
vasodilator.
What it is?
Correct. So what you can do to make yourself more vascular. So basically, Viagra, it's designed to encourage blood flow.
Yeah.
Right. And so someone, before he went on stage, took Viagra to encourage blood flow to his muscles to make him look more vascular and bigger and all that sort of stuff. But
are you not wearing tiny little pants?
Yep.
So how does that work?
It doesn't. Is the long and short answer.
Yeah. Well, so he's just on stage with a big boner.
Yes, and like I judged for 10 years, and the amount of times I saw guys just rock solid, I would just be like, it's an immediate demerit.
Yeah.
It's just like you're getting marked down because you've got a raging boner.
Are they doing that because they think in the photos I want it to look like I've got a big penis?
No, because you're kind of strapping it down. I guess you don't really think it's going to rage when you're on stage.
Rage on stage.
Rage on stage. That's the name of our next podcast.
Was that the name of the tour of India?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the Rage on Stage. But yeah, that was weird. So I just remember like there trying to get in the zone, trying to focus on because I was about to go on stage and do my routine, which was great. And then just being completely outpsyched by a guy with a massive raging boner in the tent next to me. I was like, great.
Wow.
So that was pretty weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah. That's one of the more niche things that I've seen backstage.
I mean, I've seen some on the comedy circuit, some similar things backstage, but that's for another podcast. Listen, Shaun, thank you so much for coming in to do this. Where can people find you on at Shaun Stafford?
Yeah,
everywhere?
Keep it really simple. At Shaun Stafford.
Shaun Stafford,
and it's SHAUN, not SEAN.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. But this is our anniversary. You know that, right?
Me and you.
This is mine and yours 2-year anniversary. We met on this very sofa.
And since then, we've done 3 tours of India.
Yeah.
You got me into Viagra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very nice, hasn't it?
It's been a roller coaster ride.
It's been a real roller coaster. At Private Podcast on all social medias. If you have any questions or dilemmas, please send them in. We love reading them out and trying to help. Shaun, I'm sure we'll get you back for some more if you want to.
This has been an absolute pleasure.
We love you, Shaun. See you next week. Goodbye.